Hello and welcome back. I feel like I'm doing this a lot lately. I apologise for the wait in between the last video and this one. I've again had COVID in the household, so everyone's been at home, and I finally have a chance to record. So I spent like 2 hours last night working on this. Whilst I was writing this, I had to take a break because my wrist started having shooting pain going down it as I was writing, because this album is a whopping 17 fucking tracks and clocks in at 1 hour and 1 minute long. And that's not including, restarting a song and going back to it for the sake of the analysis. So, without being, wasting any more time, without fucking around, all that's left to say at the beginning here is I do have my next two album reviews, my next two 6-song roundups, my next two double EP reviews, my next one discussion piece, all plotted out. Thumbnails are all ready. I just need to script them and then hopefully get time to record them. But I do need one more discussion piece for the next set of set of videos. So I've got the first discussion piece, but I need another one to break up the six song roundup and the album review. So if anybody's got any ideas, be it like a band discussion piece, a genre discussion piece, if there's anything you want to know my thoughts on in the music that we listen to, feel free to drop suggestions below. I might use yours. So let's get into the review. So today we are looking at Hardy's album The Mockingbird and the Crow. So this is the second full studio album by American singer and songwriter Hardy, which was released January 20th, 2023. It's a mix of country and country rock with metal influences splattered in for a little bit of extra flavour, and Hardy co-wrote and co-produced all 17 of the tracks from what I saw. Critically, it was received to rather mixed reviews by most online critics, but the album did in fact debut at 4th on the US Billboard 200 charts, which is Hardy's highest ever charting album so far. And it runs for, like I said, about 61 minutes and 14 seconds. So, critics are very hit and miss on it, but fans seem to be quite into the album. So, let's dive into this bag and see what we've got, shall we? Track number 1, Beer. 3 minutes and 12 seconds. So we have a short build before the vocals come in, and it's just a song from Beer's perspective of thinking and thanking the listener for keeping them around, keeping them going. It's your stereotypical sort of country music, and typical country themes, but not anything insane or new. Probably good for a party if you wanted, some low-key music in the background, but that's all I really have to say about that one. It's good, but I do think there was better songs you could have picked to open the album with. So, moving on, we have track number 2, which is Red, featuring Morgan Wallen. I think I said that correctly, which was about 3 minutes and 26 seconds. And this is a song that names a lot of red things while saying they are not talking about politics. Again, it's not Hardy's best track, nor is it his worst track, and that's really all I have to say about that one. Now, track number 3 is Wait in the Truck, featuring Lainey Wilson, which runs for 4 minutes and 38 seconds. And I don't generally tend to do stuff like this, but I will give a pre-warning right now. This song addresses the topic of domestic violence against women, And if this is something you do not wish to hear being spoken about, please skip to track 4, or I will see you in the next video. Don't feel the need to put yourself through it, okay? So, for those of you that are continuing with me here, we are going to be moving on now. So verse 1 is slow, and it's setting the pace, setting the scene, and building up the story that we're going to follow. And then in verse 2, we get to hear this. Well, she was bruised and broken from head to toe, with a tear in her blood-stained shirt. She didn't tell me the whole truth, but she didn't have to. I knew what happened to her. And then the female vocals come in for the chorus and adds to the layers of the story and the narrative that we are being given with lines like this. I don't know if he's an angel, because angels don't do what he did. And also, she adds, I never thought my day of justice would come from a judge under his seat. Which, I did some looking up, and apparently a judge is a type of pistol. I can't remember the exact name of it, and I forgot to write it down. So, that's what the judge under his seat line is referencing, is the gun that he keeps in his car. Well, in verse 3, Hardy tells what happens when they arrive at the house of the woman's abuser. Well, I knock, and no one came, so I kicked in his double-wide door and let the hammer drop, before he got to that 12 he was reaching for. I didn't try to hide my pistol, didn't even try to run. I just sat on the porch smoking one of his cigarettes and waited for the cops to come. So again, hammer is a kind of a double entendre here, because not only do certain guns have a hammer on the back that you have to cock and shoot, but they've already established that the gun he is using is called a judge, and when someone is sentenced in a court of law, the judge bangs a hammer, the gavel, on the thing. So it's kind of like a double reference to both of those bits, which I thought was kind of smart, kind of cool. And obviously the 12 he was reaching for is referencing a 12 gauge shotgun, for those of you that aren't versed in gun talk, I guess. What the fuck is this doing here? Like, seriously. And obviously, as he says, he just sits there and he waits for the cops to come, and, you know, he'll deal with his consequences. Finally, in the bridge, he is revealed to be in prison, where the woman still comes to visit him from time to time, as he says. But he's just happy to see her free and living a better life, no matter what his fate. He does say, you know, like, he doesn't care if he's got to do life. He's just happy to see her, you know, like, something or other. But, yeah. Very good song off of this album. One of the best lyrically, I think, and one of the better narrative-driven stories that he tries to do. Like I said, it is a dark topic. Sadly, it's one that's prevalent in quite a few people's lives, both men and women. And I think it was done to the point where it wasn't too graphic. It wasn't too triggering to people potentially listening to it. But it obviously got the point across by using lines like battered and broken from head to toe without being grim about it. So moving on, we have track number 4, Drink One For Me, which is 3 minutes and 32 seconds, I think. This is pretty much a song about someone who has passed away, and they are requesting that their friends, whenever they have a drink or they have a party, that they drink their share of the beers, since there ain't no beer in heaven, as Hardy says. Kind of a simple one, kind of, you know, it's, again, your stereotypical country sort of thing, like, you know, I'm no longer here, drink my share of the beer, but it's a good song. And that's the thing you'll find. The ones that on this album that don't have a lot of substance are just good songs that you can kind of mindlessly go about your day listening to without getting lost in the deeper meaning of things, and stuff like that. So yeah. Track 5. I in Country, 3 minutes and 50 seconds. This is your stereotypical country style love song, with the chorus being, I know how to build a house on a hill, but what would that be worth if I come back and swing alone my little piece of earth? Yet the more I turned, the more I learned, no matter what I do, there ain't no country, I in country, but there is a Y-O-U. Yeah, cheesy, I know. But again, it's not a bad song. Like, it's well put together. It's, got a decent pacing, decent rhythm. It's not the most egregious track I've ever heard in my life. Moving on, we have track number 6, Screen, which is 3 minutes and 48 minutes. 3 minutes and 48 minutes? Fuck me. 3 minutes and 48 seconds, I believe. So Screen is kind of a song about how we should put down the tech screens and enjoy the same things that we see through our TVs, through our video games, through our mobile phone in real life. Like watching a storm roll by whilst being sat out on the porch, or playing baseball with your friends instead of playing baseball with your friends on a video game. It's a decent sentiment of basically enjoy life while you can without needing to record it. 'Cause he does even say, like, put that screen away when you're at the rock concert. So it's also kind of one of those bits where it's like, live your life for now. Don't feel the need to record it for later, because the stuff will still live on in your memory when you're old. Obviously, not for some people, because dementia is a thing, and some people do like to take videos and pictures just in case that sort of illness happens to them. So it is a double-edged debate there. Not one I'm going to get into, but in a tech age, it's probably falling on deaf ears, is what I will say. But again, it's a good song. I can understand the sentiment behind the message. I just don't know if it's what people want to hear. Like I said, if this was 2010, 2011, maybe it would have worked. Maybe it would have been heralded a bit better. But being in 2023, when this album released and whatnot, I just don't think that's going to win people over. Honestly, mate. Like, no offense to him. Like I said, it is a good song. Track 7 is called Happy, which is just shy of 4 minutes long. And this is a slow track that kind of personifies the emotions of happiness, hatred, and jealousy as people, etc. And I mainly like the chorus on this one, which was, my old friend, where has the time gone? We were thick as thieves until hate came along. What a mess we've gotten into. Hey, Happy, why can't everyone just be like you? And, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, I was happy until hatred came into my life, oh, I was happy until jealousy arrived at my door, and I was, a bitter person, and then I'm trying to find my way back to happiness, and I'm trying to find my way back to happy. And like I said, it was a good song. For some people, the message and the personification of happiness, hatred, and jealousy as a person may not come through because it isn't really that delved into. But it's not a bad song. It's not a great song. It's just, again, it's one of those ones you could put on and mindlessly go about your day to, without having to worry about, oh, what does that mean? What does this mean? Oh, hello. Moving on to track number 8, we have Here Lies Country Music, which is 3 minutes and 41 seconds long. And this is sort of a funeral song for country music. with lines like Jack Daniels in the front row right next to steel guitar, which are two of the staples of country music, are steel guitars and talking about Jack Daniels. He also says if trucks run out of red dirt roads and beer quit getting you drunk would basically be two of the signs of the end of country music and the downfall of that genre. There's also references to artists nearly killing the genre of country music, but he says this. It had a couple close calls with names that I will not mention, uh, but then he does say it always stays strong with Always on My Mind and Family Tradition, which I did a little bit of searching. I believe is references to Hank Williams Jr., who did Family Tradition, and I think Willie Nelson did Always on My Mind, and he kind of uses them as two of the like guardians that kept country music alive through the dark times. But in the end, this death of country music and this worry that it's going somewhere is revealed to be nothing but a nightmare in typical, like TV trope fashion. You wake up in a cold sweat and, oh, thank fuck, it was all just a dream, sort of thing, Whew, well, already at track number 9 here. This is The Mockingbird and the Crow, which serves as the waypoint between the first portion of the album, which is solid country tracks, and the latter portion, which is supposed to be the country rock tracks. And this one kind of is devised into this as well, but I'll get into that a bit more later. So this is, as I said, is the final country track before the transition into country rock portion of the album, with The Mockingbird, which is his country persona, being highlighted in tracks 1 through 8 in the first half of track 9, and The Crow, which is his country rock tracks, more true to himself, is showcased through tracks 10 to 17 and the latter portion of track 9. So like I said, The Mockingbird represents what other people want him to be. I'm a mockingbird singing songs that sound just like other songs you've heard is a line from the song that kind of showcases that. As well as like Friday nights and headlights on some back road red dirt and how Mississippi's home. And then in verse 3 he also says, do this, do that, that shirt, this hat, don't forget to smile, kiss the ring once in a while, don't say those words, put down your finger, throw in a slow love song or two, well fuck that and fuck you, being prime examples of this, as well as the way that it's delivered and leading to the Kid Rock-esque style which properly comes to form for the last half of the album. Which then takes us into the Crow portion. So the first track of the Crow portion is track 10, Sold Out, which is 3 minutes and 23 seconds. So this is the first full country rock track off of the album, and also the first Hardy song I ever actually heard, for those of you that might be interested, which was also performed live and used by the WWE at the 2023 Royal Rumble, where Hardy performed the song live, although Hardy's live performance wasn't the best. I don't know if that was due to time constraints, the mic, or if he just wasn't properly prepared. But yeah. And the song starts with the crowd cheering his name, Hardy, before verse 1 starts, where he mentions being from Mississippi, says he could have bought a Maybach, but he still drives his F-150, which I believe is some type of truck, before the pre-chorus into chorus flow of, and my last name is a whole lot bigger than I thought it'd be, and then, I'm still the same old redneck fuck, don't give a damn, ain't afraid to throw a dead buck on my Instagram, grain alcohol in my cup, got the whole house wall to wall, and I still ain't sold out, where he repeats sold out 3 more times. Also, the dead buck on the Instagram is reference to when Hardy apparently went out hunting. He shot a buck and then wanted to post it on his Instagram to show people what he had caught, and Instagram swiftly removed the image from his profile. So that's kind of like a fuck you to Instagram on his behalf. So, moving on to track 11, which is Jack, which is a shorter song at 2 minutes 49. And again, a little fact for those of you that may not know this has also been used by the WWE. This is in the WWE 2K23 wrestling video game soundtrack, which is out on Xbox One, PS4, Xbox Series, PS5, and I believe PC as well. Not sponsored, not plugged, I just play a fucking lot of the game. So basically, this song is narrated from the point of view of Jack Daniels whiskey, tempting the listener to try it, and as the... I just dropped my notes, fuck's sake, sorry. And as the journey unfolds, we basically see the listener's life deteriorate due to alcoholism. For example, there's mentions of losing loved ones and friends and pushing people away. And the personification of whiskey does not accept that it's their fault, but ultimately just keeps tempting the listener with more and more promises of good things coming their way other than bad things if he just keeps following whiskey. For example, don't listen to mama, hell I ain't the devil. You can ditch me when you wanna, but if you need a little, I can fix your problems. I've always got your back. I can make you famous. By the way, my name is... Shit. It ain't my place, but I gotta admit, which then bleeds into verse 3 saying, all the people in your circle, man, they're pissing me off. Say you're broken and you're soulless and it's all my fault. So tell me, old friend, is it such a sin? All I did was make you happy, so to hell with them. And these lines really do show, you know, what I discussed at the start about, you know, the descent into alcoholism, pushing your friends and family away, and then the alcohol, or the alcoholic side of you, / the whiskey not taking responsibility and being like, you know, saying all I did was make you happy, so to hell with them. They didn't make you happy, they didn't help you, I did. Look at what I've done for you, sort of thing, you know. So moving on, we have track number 12, Truck Bed, which again is about 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Basically, this is about a girl locking her fella out of the house for drinking. She said, don't come home if you go to the bar. I said, okay, baby. Then I got drunk out in the yard. 2 a.m. I knocked on the door, but she never locked it. So, thusly, he is forced to sleep in his truck. You know, the start is very stereotypical country, but it amps up near the end of the track with, you know, a bit more heavier guitars, a bit more heavy drumming. Hardy, you know, going a bit more Kid Rock and almost like, it's not scream, but it's like kind of like, you know, the Kid Rock sort of like harsher rapped vocals with that quickness and the metally gruffness to it. It's kind of like that. So moving on, we have track number 13, which is 30-06, which is 2 minutes and 21 seconds. So, as you might notice, the country rock portion of the album tends to have arguably shorter songs than the generic country portion, which I don't know if that's just because the country rock style suits more to shorter songs, or if it was because this is what he wanted to do, which maybe the record label didn't want him doing, but so he put longer of what they wanted and kept what he wanted short so he could get it on the album. I don't really know. But anyway, 30-6 is basically about a girl leaving her fella for spending more time hunting than with her. Notice the theme here. This has a bit of a punk rock-esque guitar riff in the background, whilst the lyrics talk about her taking his rifle and selling it at a pawn shop in hopes of fucking up his hunting season, and her being able to leave and go where she wants to go. But what she apparently did not know was that Hardy has another gun under his bed and about 3 more guns in his safe. And another dead deer on the gram reference again in here as well. It's a good song. It's, you know, nothing egregious. Again, it's one of those ones where you can just vibe out to it easily whilst gaming or cleaning or cooking or whatever the fuck you do in your day-to-day life. So moving on to track 14 now, we're coming into the final stretch here. I Ain't in the Country No More is one of the longer country rock songs, which is about 4 minutes and 15 seconds roughly. So as you probably guessed, this is the story of a country boy leaving to go to the city to live his dreams and make a name for himself whilst dealing with the problems that come from being fresh in the city. You know, for example, being taken by a mug by a homeless man who he gives some money to, and then he later sees drinking alcohol out of a brown paper bag, and he's like, God damn it, you took advantage of me. I gave you money to get some food or something and you buy alcohol with it, what the fuck. He doesn't actually say that, but that's kind of like the vibe you get from the lines. And like I said, he also is dealing with the feelings of being a bit of an outsider with lines like, nobody talks like I do, nobody here at all, hell yeah, hey y'all, and stuff like that. So, moving on to track 15 out of 17, we have Radio Song featuring Jeremy McKinnon of A Day to Remember, which is 3 minutes and 7 seconds. This song is basically a big fuck you to the formula of country songs that gets radio play. And you can tell that there's a bit of an annoyed delivery in the verse that Hardy puts out here, which shows it well. There's got to be a truck, there's got to be a girl, she's got to be hot, and you've got to rhyme that shit with world, and it can't be too fake, and it can't be too real. Got to make them tap their feet, or I'll lose my record deal. So I just sat down with some dudes that wrote some hits, we put our heads together, and it goes like this. Before, you know, going into a very generic chorus, even dropping the line, oh, everyone knows how it goes, you know. And then at the end of that, Jeremy McKinnon from A Day to Remember comes in and screams, this ain't no radio song, whilst shouting out, fuck, and let's fucking go at the top of his voice, and actually, you know, like screaming radio song, fuck, etc. Like I said, whilst the heavy drums and guitars all play in the background, like I said, this is basically just one big fuck you to the formula that people want to hear and is becoming stale. Moving on to track number 16, we have Kill Shit Till I Die, which is 3 minutes 24 seconds. And this is a song about buying guns and land and learning to hunt for yourself in case the world goes to hell. Don't have too much to say here, but it is a good country rock track to just vibe out to like some of the others. Moving on, we have the final track, the Redneck Song, which is just shy of 4 minutes, and the title says it all. It's a song about all the things redneck and country folk like, from beer and deer, hunting and chewing tobacco, to shotguns, with references to the Mountain Dew and close relations to one another, shall we say, and basically it's just an anthem for people that live the redneck lifestyle. So, my final thoughts. This album is a mixed bag of styles and features and themes. Some songs hit more than others, and I'll admit, I'm hopeful that Hardy's next endeavour, be it an album or an EP, is a bit more consistent in style, and if it's an album, maybe slightly shorter than 17 songs long. But I understand why it is done this way, because of half of the portion being the Mockingbird, the country stuff that he doesn't seem to vibe as well with, and half being The Crow, which is more his style, his vibe, the darker like country rock tracks. So it makes sense. But with that being said, let's get down to brass tacks and tell you what you really want to know. What are my top songs? So number one, we have Wait in the Truck, which I think is arguably the best song on the album. Followed by Jack, which is arguably one of the, again, the best songs on the album. Followed by Sold Out, which is just a good party track. You could play this in a house party whilst you're drinking, and people will vibe with it and get hyped up. And finally is a first ever time joint fourth place with 30 Art 6 and Kill Shit Till I Die. Both of these have a similar vibe, similar groove, and I just think it was hard to choose which one to put over the other. So with that being said, that was Hardy, the Mockingbird and the Crow. I believe the next video coming out for you guys is going to be a discussion of the Big Six project, the band members that left, the band members that joined, the move into Project Vengeance, the first single, and what I hope to see coming out from them in the future, and stuff like that. So without further ado, I will bid you farewell, and as always, remember to stay safe out there, my friends. Goodbye.